Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at tanks versus artillery. Which one you should go, which one's better, all of that stuff. But to start off with, just want to say Merry Christmas. Thank you for supporting my channel over like a year, I think it is now. Been pretty inconsistent, but yeah, thank you very much. I'll hopefully be putting out better content and helpful content. That's what I try and focus myself on, is more helpful content rather than just battles and stuff like that. But maybe expanding the horizons next year. Anyway, units. Which one should you focus on, artillery or tanks? I'm going to start off with artillery. Artillery, like artillery at the moment are extremely good. If people are running infantry, you can take out infantry very fast. Tanks, you can still take out tanks very fast. You're not limited on bases. You can take out bases pretty fast. They are the only unit that can take bases for free. For example, let me see if, obviously it's a chance to work. So what you can do is charge off of a raven and then attack. Oh, I'm not in range. So you charge off a raven. So now my normal attack is charged. So then I attack the. Still not in range. This game. Let me spawn a raven. This game. Excuse me. There we go. Right, come over here. Don't one-shot it. Come on, over here. Sorry about that. I thought I was in range. So that's going to attack. Yeah. So I charge my attack, then attack the bunker, and you see, Saber of the Nation goes off when my auto attack does. So that is the only way you can kill a base for free, because you don't need anything to tank. You just need Saber of the Nation. Obviously Lounge Officer might take a while for most, but it's the only way you can take a base for free, is by that method, because the officer goes off with the shot. Otherwise your officers will get reset. So Saber of the Nation, only way to kill a base for free. So for a single unit, you can still kill bases. You don't need a super heavy or an infantry. You can still kill bases if you have Saber of the Nation. If not, you'll go through your tank pretty fast. You might need 2 artillery, for example, to kill bases pretty quick without taking too many losses. But still, you're not limited to just field fights like a tank. So you've got high damage. You can kill bases. You also have pretty good base defense, because artillery inside your base do way more than tanks would, especially with officers like Antonina, with the skill damage, and whereas the garrison damage. For free players, you might have Percy, you can put the garrison damage, all of these things you can use to buff up your base. With artillery, very good. Downside is base defense sometimes is a pain, most of the time is a pain, because most people nowadays, attack you with 3 or 4 army groups, and you're just going to die in basically 2 hits. You might kill 1 or 2 units, but if they have enough artillery, they'll just one-shot your base, and it doesn't really matter anyway. Furthermore, artillery actually has a really good tech tree, because you obviously go through the military and that what you have advanced combat. Obviously you go through the artillery tree, and then the modern war actually buffs up your base quite a bit, because you get base HP. But I can't remember which. Base firepower, not this one. I think it's the next one. Nope. It's somewhere. It is somewhere. Somewhere down here. There we go. Base damage resist for artillery. So artillery are going to be the main things that kill your base. So if you're going through the artillery tech, you get this base damage resist versus artillery. Just keeps your base surviving a bit longer. Doubles up that base defense power with your artillery specification. So howitzers, rocket launchers take out our infantry as well. They also take out tanks pretty fast. However, you still have access to the anti-tank gun. Takes out tanks very fast. Can take out planes very fast. So overall, like they're very unique. They can be used in all roles, but then again, like they're stationary, right? So if I'm running my artillery over here, a light tank can quite easily take me out. So it's more of a static play style. However, like if you get that off, they're not limited at all. Like the only limiting factor with artillery is range. Like you want to be, if I had my base, I would want to be at the front. Because I don't have to run across the map with a slow unit that could get picked off. Which is obviously the first flaw, is that you are limited roughly to around your base. You are very limited. You might be limited to base HP as well, because if you're going to be at the front, 1 HP, you're going to get killed very easily. So there's a correlation between base and artillery, or teamwork and artillery. Like even though you could play solo, roll up your base against another person's base and kill them by yourself. If you don't have the chance to be at the front and do this, then you are limited by, do you have a light group protecting you? Do you have a helicopter group to roll with? Do you have a tank group to roll with? So then the teamwork element, comes in, where if you're not at the front, you might have a hard time. Other than that, everything kind of links into the artillery pretty well. Base defense, base attack, group play, you're not really limited. The only thing is range, really. You have to stay close to the front, otherwise your reserves are going to get picked off, your unit might get picked off, and then it is hard to get kills. But when you're in position, very nice. Moving on to tanks. Tanks are obviously the most versatile. Take away base attack. So you're not limited to your base at all. You can, obviously this one's not upgraded, I've got my artillery upgraded, so I would reset it to my helicopter. But they're fast. You're not limited to your base. You can run around, kill other units and that lot. Don't need base HP, even though some tanks do well in base defense. For example, super heavy tank gives you the shield. Helicopters take out tanks pretty fast. The only problem is infantry. Unlike howitzers, you're not going to kill infantry at all if you've only got tanks. So base defense, I would scrap it. Positioning your base, you don't really want to be at the front, because if they attack you with infantry, you're screwed. So you just want to play more as a not exactly backline. You want to be close to the front, so then you can pick people off. You can maneuver around. You can refill your units quickly into groups. Just being close enough to resupply, but not far away enough that it'll take forever, and not at the front, because you'll likely just die. Similarly, in the tech, you do get, it's the same for every tree, so you do get, where are you? I think there's 2 nodes of it in the modern one. There you go, base damage resist versus tanks. Obviously you do get this, but most of the time you're not going to be attacked by just tanks. It's going to be the artillery that kill you. So tech-wise, you're a lot more streamlined with tanks. You can do a lot less tech, so you don't actually have to do the basic city defense. You don't have to do the advanced city defense, because you're not relying on your base, right? you've got the streamlined thing. You know, you do your advanced combat all the way down, and then you move on to the modern combat all the way down. And you could just max this out. So you just max this out for all of the bonuses. Advanced combat, you don't have to max everything out because, for example, I'm not going to be attacking infantry with tanks, right? It's just pointless, so I don't need to max this one out. Reduce damage from infantry, you could just run away from the infantry, right? Like, if you're going to match yourself up against infantry, it's a horrible idea. Just stay clear, so you don't have to do these, because you could just avoid that situation. Training speed, I mean, it is nice. Heavy tank and super heavy tank speed, like, most of the time you could have a light or a helicopter. You don't need to max this one out, so, like, you're saving a lot of resources by going the tank route, by not having to do so much tech. Obviously, the full tank tree, all of this is useful. So you want to get to the end and then max all of this out. However, the artillery one, for example, because you can base defense, you want this basic city defense, you want the advanced city defense, you want all of this artillery tech, obviously, to buff it up and buff your base. But then again, you want that tank tech because, you know, you get the damage resist versus tanks as well. You get HP recovery and base HP, base firepower. So you want all of these techs to buff up your base because you want to make it as strong as possible to get like the most effectiveness out of the artillery. You know, you can go for like a mini whale build with the artillery. You don't have to go the base defense. I mean, you could just roll up to someone, use the, you know, free kill tactic that I showed you, and just do that. You know, you don't need to worry about all of this defense, but to get the most effectiveness out of it, you do have to basically do everything, whereas a tank is streamlined. So which one should you go? Basically comes down to personal preference to start off with. If you like artillery, obviously go artillery. If you like tanks, go the tank route. However, overall effectiveness, especially as like a free or average player compared to a whale, I believe tanks would be much better, because your base isn't going to be that strong. You're likely only going to have 1 or 2 maxed units. For example, here I have 1 maxed artillery, 1 maxed super heavy. Like, this isn't enough to have a suitable base defense. I will still die in basically 2 hits from, you know, even a small group of artillery. So as an average player, the tank route, where you don't have to rely on your base, there's a lot less resources involved. For example, the tech, you know, you could just streamline, go all tank. For example, you know, there's a lot less input, which is the main thing. But for a free and average player, you just want to be as useful as possible, as fast as possible, which is a tank route where you don't have to do all these upgrades. You know, you don't get the leisure of having unlimited resource or whatever, because you're not spending. You go this tank route, you're useful. All you need is, obviously, it will still take quite a while. However, you only do need this 1 unit you can run around with and take up kills. You're not limited to, you know, area. If your base is destroyed because it's weak, it's whatever, you can just sit at the back and then run forward with your unit because it's quick. So the only problem would be then you can't attack bases by yourself. So if I wanted to kill a base that was here, I just can't, you know. If that's the only thing, because they're in the safe zone, right? The only action would be if anyone comes out and sits here, or they just try and destroy our bases. So at this point, I'm pretty much effectively useless, because nothing's happening, and if someone does come out, I can't attack them. So that's the only limiting factor with a tank, is that, you know, you do sort of rely on having groups and that lot, because you can't do anything by yourself. You know, you're not just going to roll through someone's base. But an artillery can. A free player with artillery, one maxed artillery can go quite a way if you're in position. However, you know, I don't think it's going to be the most reliable way of getting kills, because, you know, you don't really have a strong base because you can't put all of the money and resources into it. So effectively then you're just going around in a group, you're putting it in a group, going around destroying bases and sharing those kills with, obviously, your tank group to start off with, probably a helicopter group, and then also 30, you're sharing kills between 30 units. I don't really see it being a great way of killing as a free or average player. However, if you can put resources into artillery, multiple artillery, an anti-tank gun as well, then you can roll around and be that force. You can do things by yourself. For example, this guy, you could literally just walk up your super heavy tank, your infantry, 2 artillery, take him out, no problem. If you have those resources, for example, 1 unit with Antonina, 1 unit with Lady Liberty, you know, you have that privilege of, you know, freedom. You can do whatever you want if you have money, basically. And then on top of that, you also have all of the tech to buff up your base, basic city defense, advanced city defense, all the modern trees, maybe not all of them, but, you know, 1 or 2, the tank one and the artillery one, you know, perfect. Like, you've got the most base damage resist, you've got extreme amounts of firepower, you can put on the double buffs to buff up your base, so you're going to have a lot of income, because you're not limited by your base, you're not limited by anything. You've got the firepower, you've got the base, you know, go around, do whatever you want. So if you've got the resources to input into artillery, then artillery much better. However, average free player, then tanks, because, you know, you just have a lot more freedom. So I hope this helps. The way the game's going, you would want, you know, as the average free player, you would want a tank. However, you do need something to deal with infantry now because of the buff. So I'm going a rocket launcher, because their normal attack kills infantry very, very fast, and you need very little input for that. You would just need them 9.2, which I can switch out my super heavy for, and then our infantry are basically gone. So that's just a note, infantry are very strong right now, not for getting kills but for tanking damage, so everyone will need an artillery and rocket launcher at some point if you're going the tank route. Anyway, thanks for watching, Merry Christmas again, I'll see you next time.